Hey guys, welcome back to the training where in this kind of tutorial here, I'm just going to show you some of the pre-made studio objects that are included with the rigs, with the light kit and everything. This is just part of the light kit. I wanted to show you guys kind of how they're set up. If you go to your your light kit here in your presets, then you're going to see in the rigs, you're going to see studios at the bottom there. If you just double click there, you're going to get to a page that has a bunch of scenes that are pre-built, ready to go for whatever objects you want to light in a studio situation. The first one here is the 3-light product studio. Let's just talk about each one of these separately real quick, and then we'll go in and look at a few of them. The 3-light product studio is really traditional, kind of overhead, 2-side light product studio where you can throw your products in here and get a really nice render really quickly, all set to go. The large product studio is more for like cars, big, larger items, especially if you want to shoot against black. This studio works really well because there's a U-shaped kind of thing, and then your lights are above, and then you could kind of get a camera there and shoot right through to the black area in the back. A light tent is kind of opposite. It's more for small items, for really, really reflective items where you need really, really kind of soft shadows, or you want really bright items. Light tents are used really frequently for kind of small products for like eBay and stuff like that. So if you want a really, really bright way to kind of light your objects, like rings or little flowers and vases and stuff like that, light tent works really well. The no-floor studio is more of kind of built for, MoGraph and things like that that don't have that don't usually have a floor object. You kind of have floating things, like these balls as an example here, or sometimes you have like just floating text you need to light really quickly. This no floor studio is a really quick way to kind of get a light there. Below that is an office room with these kind of overhead fluorescents that give this really kind of stark image kind of quality. All the lights are overhead. It kind of gives like again, like an office look. Below that are 3 studios. I call them Studio C, Studio L, and Studio U, and this is basically some of the building blocks for some of the studios. You can see Studio C is kind of shaped like a C. You have the bottom base here, and then you have the back wall, and you have kind of an upper rim to give some reflections. Studio L is kind of a traditional cyc that has the bottom and top that you can shoot against, and Studio U is one of those shoot-through studios that you can kind of you can see in use in the large product studio. Below that is one more rig, which is called the window lighting rig, and I named it that because I put the window texture here, and it gives this really nice kind of daylight feeling. In fact, that's the one we're going to open and just kind of check out. So I double-clicked it to open it. By default, we have our kind of regular camera set up, ready to go, ready to hit render. If we shut off that camera, you can actually see the full studio. And what we have here is where our camera is. That's our camera. We have our overhead. It's not an overhead softbox. It's a normal softbox with a window texture on it. We have our rim softbox over here. And then if we move down, you can see we have a spotlight that's kind of acting as a fill to fill in the area. We have our Studio L kind of cyc that's up, and we have this nice cute little tripod here that more looks cool than does anything, but hey, it's a studio. What are you going to do? Let's hit render from out here, and you're going to see what we end up with is something kind of like this. Just the whole studio being lit, global illumination coming through, and all these studios have global illumination turned on with some decent settings that are ready to go. So if you wanted to if you have an object you build or a product you have or a car or anything in 3D that you want to just instantly, really quickly light, this would be the way to do it. Pop it into the to one of these studios and replace this thing that says replace me, and you're all set to go. So this is just finishing up here. We got a couple more passes. Again, the global illumination settings are set to a pretty decent level, so it will take a little bit to render, but you'll get some really nice results. Just a few more passes, and we should be all set. So there it is. There's all our lights ready to go with different temperatures. We have our nice, the balls kind of down here ready to go. So let's go into our camera and see what that looks like with just a traditional camera setting. And remember, you just pop your own object in there and you're ready to go. Now, let's just talk about global illumination kind of quickly. If you want more detail, I'm going to have a global illumination tutorial that goes along with this training. So make sure to watch that if you want a little bit more detail. But there you go. Looking pretty good. You can see all the lights there. We have our rim light in the back. We have our window light up front. And we have some nice shadows there. Looking pretty good. And again, just replace this with whatever object you want. Set it on the floor. Hit render. And you should be ready to go. If you want to get tricky, you can actually change the color of your backdrop, which if you just click on Studio L and double click on this texture here, you can actually change the color of the backdrop to whatever you want, and then hit render again, and you'll get a different result. Not sure if deep dark purple is exactly what we want to go for, but you can see it's actually building in the color of the cyc and everything into the render. That's what global illumination does really nicely. Sorry, I think I stopped it there. But we could sit here and wait for it. What the hey? Why don't you pop in one of your objects or models or whatever you want into the studio and see what it looks like, because that's where the real fun happens. Okay, last couple passes. I'll just take one more second. And here we go. So now you can see we have the purple background. It's actually coming up into the shadows a little bit. It has this like kind of purple feel to it. Kind of cool, right? So again, throw your own object in there. And this is how all of these work. Not too many settings other than being able to go in and adjust all these lights. So if you wanted really to adjust the window softbox, and instead of having a window texture, you wanted it to be the stripes texture, or you wanted to change the color of one of these lights, just click on it, find where the light is, twirl it open, go to the softbox move item where that has all the softbox controls, and then just change the color. So if you want a rim light of like bright orange, then you can do that. And if you want to change the material back to I don't know, a blue, then you could do that. And then just click back on the camera, hit render, and you're all set to go. Well, that's it. That's the studios. Oh, and one more quick thing. The Studio C and L and U, you could use those if you want to build your own studios. And I highly, highly recommend that. If you have a really specific look or a specific product that you need to light, then you would use these studios just kind of as a building block. The Studio C or even one of these, if you really just want to grab all the lights in this rig down here that we're looking at. Looks pretty cool. Kind of a weird light over here. We got some stripes. Not the sexiest thing, but we're playing around, right? But if you want to just grab these lights and totally move them, you could do that as well, and build your own lighting rig. And if you want to add more objects to the scene, then you can do that as well. Highly, highly recommend playing around with it and getting to know, the rigs. So that's it. Those are the studios. They're more for playing around than anything. Let's just look at the Office Studio real quick, because I know that in the Office Studio there are some settings. There's the light color, which you can change to whatever you want. There's the brightness, which is the overall brightness. There's HDRI mode, which is just going to shut off all the lights for HDRI rendering. This is off by default. And then there's wall color, which is cool. You could just kind of change the color of the walls. And that way, when you hit render, you're going to get kind of a different look. I think I picked some pretty ugly colors for this, but that's what it's for. It's for experimenting. You can also pick a different floor color as well, you could see. And that, again, because we're using global illumination with these rigs, each color of the wall and the surrounding everything is going to affect what it looks like. So there you go. Not the prettiest thing, but, play around. So there you go. Those are the studios, and there's plenty more tutorials here to watch, and I hope to see you in another one. Thanks, guys, for watching.